Conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call, but that's Andrew's call. He made.
The moment that exploded across every social media feed says everything about what's really going on inside the Cleveland Browns building. Andrew Berry, the general manager who took non-stop criticism for drafting Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, just got the type of vindication people in the NFL dream about. The cameras caught him walking straight toward his rookie quarterback seconds after the historic debut win, and what happened next had the entire football world buzzing. This wasn't some stiff corporate handshake or a forced good job moment.
Special teams getting penalties, but I thought by and large operation was good. And I have to credit, it's nice having a veteran center when you have rookie quarterbacks playing in there.
This was real emotion, real pride. A GM who finally watched the move he fought for come to life right in front of him. Berry leaned in with a huge smile and asked, "How does it feel, bro?" And Shedeur's response hit exactly the right note. "We got a lot to improve on, man, but made some tackles today. Yeah. Saved more than I gave up." That calm, humble answer, while still owning the moment, felt like something only a true professional would say. Berry's reaction, the way his face lit up, the way his voice sounded excited and relieved at the same time, told you everything about how invested he is in Shedeur's success. You could feel how big this was for him personally, and that's why people couldn't stop sharing it. To understand why this clip went viral, you have to understand the pressure Andrew Berry was under. He was the GM who made the controversial choice to select Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round when half the league didn't even want to touch him. Media members mocked the pick. Analysts questioned the logic. Some people said Shedeur wasn't even worth a roster spot. Inside the building, Berry had to navigate different opinions, different agendas, and different quarterback favorites. But through all of it, he stayed locked in on Shedeur. He fought for him behind closed doors. He believed in the talent, and he never backed down. That's what made this moment so powerful, because once Shedeur finally got on the field, everything Berry believed in showed up in front of millions. Shedeur Sanders just became the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his debut start in 30 years. He ended a 17-game losing streak that had hung over the franchise like a dark cloud. He delivered over 200 yards, showed elite poise, escaped pressure, made tough throws, and looked like he belonged on that field from the first snap. And because of that, Berry finally got his victory lap, right next to the quarterback he bet his reputation on. This was his told-you-so moment without having to say a single word. This was the type of validation that every general manager hopes for when they gamble on a young quarterback. And the wild part is that the fans didn't just see it, they felt it. That's why the clip blew up across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. It wasn't a staged moment or a PR stunt. This was raw and real, and people gravitate to authenticity in a league full of scripted speeches and robotic interviews. Berry's body language was loud. His smile was real.
It was really, really good. Proud of you.
Cool.
Really, really nice job.
You're not fully proud.
And the celebration between him and Shedeur looked like two people who had been through all the noise and came out proving everyone wrong. That level of emotion doesn't happen often between a GM and a quarterback, and fans recognized that immediately. But then, the plot twist hit, and it made the situation even louder. Despite everything Shedeur just accomplished, breaking a 30-year curse, winning his debut, putting up numbers, and carrying the offense, he did not get the game ball. It almost sounds unbelievable, but it's true. The quarterback who just snapped one of the ugliest streaks in franchise history. The quarterback who just did something 17 rookie Browns quarterbacks before him failed to do. The quarterback who delivered a moment the entire fan base will remember for years. He didn't get the game ball. Instead, it went to Myles Garrett, who racked up 3 sacks in a dominant performance. And let's be clear, Myles absolutely deserves credit for what he did. 3 sacks in a game is massive, and Garrett is one of the best defensive players in the entire league, so his performance was huge. 3 sacks is big-time production, and Myles Garrett has been one of the few steady, bright spots during Cleveland's rough patches. The entire defense showed out, stacking 10 total sacks and shutting the Raiders' offense down like a locked door. Garrett's dominance mattered, and nobody is trying to downplay how huge he was in this win. But here's the part that's making fans heated. This game wasn't remembered because of the defense, even though they balled out. It became historic because of what Shedeur Sanders pulled off. Ending that rookie debut losing streak isn't some small detail. It was the headline of the night. It was the moment that grabbed the whole league's attention. This was the type of achievement people will talk about years from now when they look back at Shedeur's career. That's why the coaching staff not giving him the game ball came off like a major miss at best, and like a flat-out intentional slight at worst. Outsiders might think the game ball is just a small locker room tradition, but inside the building, it's a message. It's a symbol of respect, of who the team chooses to lift up, and what the organization values most. For a rookie quarterback to do something no Browns rookie has done in 30 years and still not get that recognition, it sends a message, even if nobody meant it that way. And the way social media erupted proves that many people saw it as Shedeur being disrespected.
In regards to Shedeur and Theon's not going to interfere. Theon's not going to be calling the coach. Theon's not going to be commenting about Shedeur while he's in Colorado. Lou, I think there's a lot of just fake news out.
Myles Garrett's post-game comments showed he's a real pro who understands the whole picture. He talked about watching his teammates make plays, seeing everyone get sacks, and he mentioned that breaking the franchise sack record was something he already expected from himself. That line said a lot. For Garrett, this was another day at work, another dominant performance in a career filled with them. But for Shedeur, this was a career-shifting moment, a historic night, a turning point not just for him, but for the entire franchise. That's why the moment between Deion Sanders and Shedeur after the game hit people right in the heart. Deion was waiting in the tunnel, and the second they saw each other, you could feel the pride, the relief, the emotion all over their faces. It was a father watching his son achieve something massive, something he fought for, something he earned despite critics, doubt, and chaos. Security literally had to push people back just to give them space, and everyone around them showed nothing but respect for what that moment meant. Then Shedeur dropped the comments that shook the whole league. He said, one week of practice. You know what I mean? This win is crazy. It's amazing, off of 1 week of practice. You know what I mean? So imagine, what a full off season looked like. It get dangerous. Those words weren't just humble talk or a young guy downplaying his success. They were explosive. Shedeur didn't call anyone out directly, but he exposed the truth about Cleveland's quarterback preparation in the calmest way possible. Think about what he really said. He made history, threw for over 200 yards, made big-time plays, kept his poise under pressure, all with only 1 week of first-team reps. He wasn't the starter during camp. He didn't get full preparation. He didn't get the offense built around him. He was thrown into the fire with barely any time to breathe, and he still delivered like a veteran who's been running the show all season. So imagine what he could do with a full offseason built around his strengths. Imagine what happens when he gets timing locked in with every receiver, when he gets months instead of days to study and command the system. It get dangerous wasn't exaggeration, it was honesty. That line was Shedeur's way of saying, without pointing a finger, that the Browns may have wasted time by not giving him this shot sooner. If he can dominate with 1 week, what does he look like with a full plan? How many games could Cleveland have won earlier? How different could this season look if he'd been the QB1 from the start? And now the tough questions are landing right on Kevin Stefanski's desk. Fans and analysts are demanding answers. They want to know why Shedeur wasn't getting first-team reps all camp if he was capable of this level of play. They want to know if loyalty to previous decisions or internal politics held back the obvious move. And now, after watching Shedeur Sanders come in and succeed with almost no preparation, the questions surrounding the coaching staff have gotten even louder and sharper than before. His performance didn't quiet the debate. It intensified every conversation happening inside and outside the building. Andrew Berry's standing inside the Browns organization just got a major boost after this debut. If anyone was whispering about his job security or doubting his talent evaluation, Shedeur answered those doubts with fireworks. Berry identified Shedeur as a fifth-round steal when other teams kept passing him up like he didn't belong. He pushed to get him on the roster, backed him behind the scenes, and believed he deserved a real chance. Now the quarterback he trusted just made history and proved he can play at this level. That's exactly what a GM is supposed to do, find overlooked talent and put it in position to win. And right now, the difference between Berry and Kevin Stefanski is starting to look huge. Berry looks like the smartest guy in the room for drafting Shedeur, while Stefanski looks questionable for waiting this long to put him on the field, and for not handing him the game ball after one of the most historic debuts in team history. If Cleveland had lost this game, the pressure on Stefanski would have been brutal. But even with the win, real concerns remain about his decision-making and whether he's truly getting the most out of his roster. People aren't ignoring that anymore. They're asking direct questions. The "somebody called me junior" line from Shedeur in his talk with Berry says a lot because it shows how quickly people start comparing him to his father. Being called junior when your father is Deion Sanders brings heavy expectations and non-stop pressure. But Shedeur never runs from that comparison. He uses it as motivation, embraces the spotlight, and plays in a way that respects his father's legacy while building his own. The support system around Shedeur is clearly one of his biggest strengths, and that matters a lot for any young quarterback. He has a father who's been at the highest level of professional sports for decades and knows exactly how to guide him. He has Andrew Berry, a general manager who believed in him and fought to bring him to Cleveland when most teams overlooked him. He has veterans like Garrett, who can help him navigate everything that comes with being an NFL starter. And he has a fan base starving for quarterback stability, ready to ride with him through all the growth that comes with developing a young franchise leader. Social media's reaction to the game ball controversy has been overwhelmingly on Shedeur's side. Fans are frustrated. Former players are calling the decision strange. Analysts are openly asking what the coaching staff is thinking and whether this shows a bigger disconnect between them and Shedeur. The debate hasn't slowed down for a second. It's creating an awkward situation that Cleveland could have avoided completely by simply handing Shedeur the game ball and celebrating the moment. At the same time, Garrett mentioning that he felt like he had Andrew watching over me today was a powerful and emotional tribute to a fallen teammate, and nobody should take away from that. Honoring teammates who have passed is part of the heart of sports, and that moment deserved its respect. But that doesn't erase the fact that Shedeur's historic achievement also deserved recognition, and both things could have been honored without taking away from either one. The real question now is what Cleveland does next with the quarterback situation. Do they ride with Shedeur as the starter for the rest of the season? Do they switch back once the previous starter gets healthy? The energy Shedeur brought to the team, combined with his real production, makes it hard to argue against keeping him in the starting role. But sometimes teams stick with old decisions even when the new one is clearly better. And that's where Shedeur's comment about imagining a full offseason hits even harder. So imagine, you know what a full offseason looked like. It'd get dangerous. That line is going to chase the Browns if they try to turn away from him now. He basically told them and the entire league that he can be even better with real preparation and real support. The viral moment between Andrew Berry and Shedeur Sanders shows just how much people still want to believe in the Cleveland Browns. Even after decades of chaos, heartbreak, and being the target of endless jokes, there's still a ton of goodwill toward this franchise. Fans across the country are rooting for Cleveland to finally rise, and seeing the GM and his young quarterback share such a real emotional celebration made people feel like maybe, just maybe, this could be the start of something special. The emotional intelligence Shedeur showed in his post-game comments was unbelievable for someone at this stage of his career. He praised his teammates, thanked his coaches, and talked about the work still ahead. He stayed humble, stayed grounded, and at the same time made it clear he deserves more opportunity without sounding disrespectful. That's a tough balance for any player. But the fact that he managed it with so much maturity shows he knows exactly how to handle the spotlight. The pressure on Cleveland's coaching staff to keep giving Shedeur opportunities is now off the charts. The fans want it. The media is pushing for it. The general manager clearly supports him. And most importantly, Shedeur just proved he can handle the biggest moment of his life and thrive at this level. If Kevin Stefanski tries to go back to the old quarterback depth chart after what just happened, the backlash from Browns fans will be massive. So this is where things stand now. Andrew Berry just had his vindication moment with the quarterback he fought to draft. Shedeur Sanders made history but didn't get the game ball. The entire football world is arguing about what Cleveland should do next, and the fifth-round pick people doubted just showed he might be the quarterback the Browns have been searching for across more than 30 years of confusion, resets, heartbreak, and quarterback turnover. What do you think about Andrew Berry's emotional moment with Shedeur after the historic win? Was it wrong that Shedeur didn't get the game ball? Should the Browns make him the permanent starter after what he just showed? And how big was his comment about having only 1 week of practice before making history? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to hear your take on this unbelievable story. If you made it this far, then you clearly care about Shedeur's journey and want to follow every twist and turn of what comes next. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss an update.